So it is raining a little bit, so we're going to try to keep this on the brief side, but what I'm going to do for us today, folks, is just give us a nice little video about native landscaping, and I'll show you guys a nice example of that I've got going off in the backyard here. But we'll kick that video off with this guy right here. Let's get a zoom in on these glandular hairs on the stem. This is Corylus americana, the American hazelnut in the Betulaceae, I believe. It's got wonderful flowers. I'll show a picture of them right here. It's a monoecious plant, so separate male and female flowers in this Corylus. In the Betulaceae, I believe I said that already. But once it's mature enough to start setting fruit, you know, it provides an awesome resource for native wildlife to take advantage of. Once it's starts producing the actual hazelnuts, or you can eat them too, I guess. I don't know. This one's not old enough yet. It did have female flowers on it this year though, and I'm gonna assume they got pollinated. So we're hoping. But anyways, let's step back in here. It's a bit of a mess, full of Glaucoma heteracea and Galen maparini. What we're back here to show off is this wonderful character. This, of course, is Erythema triphyllum. The jack-in-the-pulpit gets that name from the. I wanted to call it trifoliate, but I guess it's technically not trifoliate because it's all one leaf, you know. So it looks trifoliate, but it's probably technically not. But that's not what I want to talk about the jack-in-the-pulpit. It affords a great opportunity to discuss the floral morphology of the Araceae. You know, the characteristic spathe and spadix. So the spathe is this outer covering, and I remember the spathe mostly because the word spathe itself looks kind of like the word sheath, and it kind of, you know, serves the function of a sheath. Sheathing, of course. The spadix itself, the actual reproductive organs of the jack-in-the-pulpit, the Erythema triphyllum. There's a fly in there. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. Wasn't expecting that. Let you do your business. Yeah, probably. Well, you know, it's pollinated by flies apparently. That's awesome. But yeah, so Jack, the preacher, he's the spadix, and then the pulpit, the spathe. That's where it gets the name jack-in-the-pulpit. In case you were curious, got a nice young. Whoops, let me zoom out. Nice young Celtis occidentalis here, member of the Cannabaceae. Note those lopsided leaf bases and that nice serrate margin. What we've got right here is a young Juniperus virginiana. This one's actually, you can see it right in the center frame there, that orange goop. This is infected by the basidiomycotin fungus, Gymnosporangia juniperi virginianae. So it's going to get galls on it eventually. Reportedly not fatal to junipers, but we'll see about that. That clump of grass right there is Elymus hystrix. Shot a video discussing that one. Go back and check it out because it's a great species. And then we'll move into something a bit more manicured. And this is what you can do. You know, like this wouldn't look out of place in, say, a suburb. You know, maybe it's a little weedy for some people's taste, but you know, all the plants in here are good, and we're going to get into why right now, actually. So to kick that off, this right here, this is an awesome one. This plant, these three right here, these were a gift from Nathaniel over at Botany and Beer, who actually shot a video on this particular plant. This is Asclepias exaltata. Pause for effect and to show the flowers off. And yeah, the poke milkweed. It's an awesome plant that you get in the shady, wetter forests. You know, it's got these beautiful white hoods and horns. Of course, you saw that from the picture. But what else do we got? Got a nice little polygonatum down in here. A true Solomon seal. Do we got flowers on it yet? No. Got flowers on that one. I'll show you the flowers in a second. But so we got that smooth Solomon seal, Asclepias exaltata. We got this right here with the opposite leaves. That is Agaritina altissima. The white snake root. I call it the woodland Joe pieweed though, because it's in the Eupatoriae tribe subfamily. I don't know what the division is. It's pretty closely related to the Joe Pye weeds is the point, and it grows in woodlands, so I call it woodland Joe Pye weed, because white snake root doesn't tell me anything about the plant, except that it's white and that it was formerly used to cure snake bites, I'm assuming, but that's beside the point. Great late season food source for the pollinators, Agaritina altissima. Got right here is a really neat species. This is Campanulastrum americanum, the tall American bellflower. And this is a cool species because it's actually got a very specialized relationship with a certain species of megachilid bee. The bee is oligolectic, that is, it can only rear its young with the pollen of Campanulastrum americanum. And also a professor that I worked with when I was living in Ohio did some work on this plant, so it's also special for that sentimental reason. You know, reminds me of her. She kind of helped. She was very important in me becoming a botanist, I would say. That was Jennifer Eisen. You should look up her research papers. Really great lady. Great scientist, just a great person, yeah. But anyway, what we got in here, it's mostly done going off. Phlox divaricata, the wild blue phlox, the woodland phlox. You know, you get it often in the mesic forests. As you can see, we got the sepals, and then the ovary. The ovary is housed within at the center of that, and that's hopefully got pollinated this year, and will set seed and continue to spread throughout the bed. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you the polygonatum. But you'll notice a grass coming up through here a lot. Right there, the big clumps right there. That's Chasmanthium latifolium, the river oats. I shot a video about that. Also, refer back to that because, you know, it's raining and I don't want to be out here forever. But this is they're not open yet, but you can see them there. Whoops, come here. The developing flowers of Polygonatum biflorum, I'm going to assume, given that it has 2 flowers. I think we get, I don't know, I think we might get 3 or 4 species of Polygonatum in the area. I'll write up however many it is on the sidebar. But Chasmanthium latifolium right there, awesome grass, spreading just like I wanted it to. It's phenomenal. More agaritino, more Campanulastrum, more phlox, Osmorrhiza longistilis down there in the carrot family, Apiaceae. That's mostly done. But what I wanted to talk about is this cool guy. What do we got here? This is, I've identified this before. We've also got a little burrow. The critter has some fine food. I think it munched on this one actually, but that's beside the point. This is Pluteus cervinus, the deer mushroom, in the Pluteaceae. So it will eventually, with age, it'll get pink gills on it, have like a salmon spore print. I believe it's edible technically, if you prepare it right. Make sure you actually cook mushrooms. I can't believe I have to say that. Make sure you cook your damn food. Yeah, but if you forage mushrooms, make sure you cook them. Otherwise you can have like what happened out in Montana with the morels, and now people are fear-mongering about morels, and it's like, hey, if the restaurant just fucking cooked it right. But I don't know, it makes me annoyed. But anyway, very cool mushroom. And the reason it's popping up in here is because, you know, we're working with primarily just untreated mulch. And that's the beauty of untreated mulch, is that it gets fungi, it gets little detritivores, decomposing organisms, you know, all kinds of cool stuff will pop up. And it also keeps the weeds down a little bit. And speaking of weeds, you should try to step away from like the weed as a concept. What I do, and what seems to get really good results as far as natives just filling in from the seed bank, keep in mind there are 3 plants that I planted in this bed. The Chasmanthium, the phlox, and the Asclepias. And everything else has just filled in from the seed bank or from wind dispersal or animal dispersal or whatever. And it's going pretty well, you know. We've got a good little diverse cast of characters in here. I didn't mention this one. Look at that weird flower. Little Sanicula. Ah, wonderful. But got that Carex blonda right there, the common wood sedge. Charming, isn't it? That's what the specific epithet. I believe that's what that means. As you can see right there, nice little Carex. Monoecious, sedges have edges, all that good stuff. What else was I going to talk? Oh yeah, I was talking about weeds. But so you want to pick just like a handful of problematic species. Like for me, it's Glecoma hederaceae, Galium aparini. There's, of course, Laniceras, you know, because we do feed the birds here, so we get Lanicera species like crazy. We get Celastris. We get a good handful of invasives, and those are what I choose to spend my time on, rather than say picking every Agaritina out of the ground, because you know these native quote-unquote weeds are in all actuality a valuable habitat and valuable resources for a wide variety of, you know, fauna and fungi as well, because in a lot of situations, you know, plants are symbiotic with the soil fungus. So, you know, you want good, healthy soil, and again, tying back in, it's healthier when you're not filling it up with all kinds of chemicals and whatnot, more or less, is the gist. This is Urtica dioica, I gotta pull that. And that is Toxicodendron radicans, folks. I keep that around because it's, you know, it's valuable food, actually. Like, you know, that's the point. You know, you're providing for the wildlife, more or less, and trying to bring the system back up to health, hopefully. But Toxicodendron radicans, I keep it around because, you know, it'll flower, that's food for bugs, it'll produce berries, food for birds. Beautiful fall foliage as well. Also kind of pretty spring foliage. You can see the developing flowers down in there in the center frame. Oh yeah. So there you go, folks. If you want to see like a less manicured bed, I can show you that in another video. Just let me know in the comments. But that's going to be it for me today.